And just to touch on what you're saying about how most TVs have the same sort of essential components with the panel
Mhm.
and the boards and things, is there any difference in brands that you would see? Is there any brands that would seem to crop up with issues more than others? Or anything that you'd recommend if someone's, comparing between potential
Yeah,
brands?
absolutely. If you're comparing between brands, I always recommend Samsung, Sony, LG, and depending on where you are in the world, Panasonic. Also, depending on where
Okay.
you are, you may find some other budget brands, like in the United States and North America, you'll find TCL. That's a really good brand for a budget. Vizio has a wide
Mm-hmm.
world or worldwide name at this point, and they certainly and have had good quality products. But as far as most repaired brand, it would have to be Vizio. The other part to that is
Right.
what's the volume sold compared to repaired, because that's a percentage. That's the likelihood that you'll have a
Mm-hmm.
broken
Mm-hmm.
one. Samsung, I'd say, saw the highest volume of repairs, but they also have by far in North America the largest volume of sales. I know LG has a very high volume sold worldwide. They are, if I'm not mistaken, the leader worldwide, right there with Samsung.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sony has a really good presence in North America and Japan, possibly in Korea as well. No, because Samsung and LG are Korean companies. You just see some
Mm-hmm.
brand loyalty depending on the country that they're from, and you'll see more repairs based on the volume sold. With that being said, I Vizio, I would definitely say per volume sold has the highest repairs that were of TVs that we repaired. There are plenty of other brands.
Okay.
There's brands like Hisense and Sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Those two in North America are the same company. Hisense bought them quite a few years ago. Vizio was an American-made company, and that was a selling point for a lot of people. And they sold back in, I think it was 2015, something like that. They sold to
Uh-huh.
another company. The biggest problem with the company like Vizio is that they outsource all of their parts. They don't make anything in-house, and they basically put together everything that they need, and then they source out who's going to make the parts for them, which means some models, some batches are going to be significantly better than others. And there's not really a great way to know that other than waiting
Mm-hmm.
3 to 6 months and then buying the model once the model itself, which refreshes every year, has had some life and history to it, and you can get some good reputable reviews in.
Yeah, makes sense. So I guess it's one of those times where a higher price tag sometimes is worth it just with a lower chance of something going wrong.
Absolutely.
Or I guess with things like Samsung, it's, so many people own them that the possibility of just Googling your issue and finding the exact answer is a lot
Yeah,
higher.
absolutely. That's common. I mean, that's a great thought with any electronic. If you were to buy something that is the one that's most common, you are most likely to find some resolution, whether it be like a Reddit thread or a forum somewhere that somebody has already resolved it for you, or at the very least, just somebody who says, hey, this is what you need to do to take the next step for someone to repair it. I'd say with all of that, Sony,
Yeah,
LG, and Panasonic are definitely the least repaired televisions.
nice. As in percentage wise.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So they're the kind of safer options.
Yeah, and I would still include Samsung in that. It's just
Hmm.
with Samsung having more than double the amount of models that they produce every
Right.
year compared to those companies, you could almost combine all three of those together and you'll have more models that Samsung produces.